Good evening, Craven County. I would first like to thank Ms. Diane and the Craven County Democratic Women for inviting me into this space. And next, I would like to thank everyone in attendance. Special thanks to my husband-to-be and my children for their support during this journey. Tonight, I am humbled to share this space with such like-minded people. I stand before you to introduce myself as the Beaufort County Democratic Women's first vice and as the Progressive Democratic candidate. Although I am a proud American, I hang my head in shame tonight because the law passed in Texas to restrict abortions is a mockery of legislation. The Republican-led legislators have enacted restrictions on Texan women that we must make sure are never repeated in North Carolina. This law that Texas passed makes no exceptions for 4 circumstances that cause the pregnancy. So, if you get raped, they say that's too bad, and we're not only going to make you carry the child to term, we're going to give the rapist rights against you if you try to terminate it. Even natural miscarriages will be viewed as questionable. There are many reasons that a woman might decide that abortion is their best option, but in Texas, this deeply personal resolution is to be dictated. This law requires detection so early that many women won't even know they're pregnant until the deadline is passed. 6 weeks. Raise your hand if you've ever been pregnant. Now recall when you find out. And keep them raised if you knew at 6 weeks that you were pregnant. All the hands that went down are the rights to choose that have been stripped from the women in Texas. This law mimics the Civil War days and turns citizen against citizen in its enforcement. It could be your relatives, your neighbors. It could be the Uber or Lyft driver that drove you home. People who have no cause to be involved in your life can be paid $10,000 for exposing your procedure. A bounty has been put on women seeking abortions in Texas. This law will force women to travel hundreds of miles to seek abortions in a safe environment if they can afford it, and many can't. The added cost of travel disproportionately impacts those whose budgets just aren't that flexible. Low-income workers, those who struggle the most to overcome the challenges of daily life, now by decree must accept even more of a challenge and struggle. Restricted abortion systematically ensures the continuation of cycles of poverty and hopelessness. Those that can afford the travel are inconvenienced, but it is literally a life sentence for those who cannot. Opportunities to education are traded in due to the need of expensive child care. Job opportunities then become limited. What income can be made must be stretched, and when it runs out, a person is forced to make do without or deal with our current poor system of public assistance that often results in the applicant being humiliated or belittled when asking for assistance of any kind. I remember at the age of 18, I was a pregnant, unwed mother. I was treated horrible by not only nurses, but by the doctors who decided that it was in my best interest to strip my membranes and induce pregnancy. I literally felt that I was raped to the point that I bled and was in pain. So can you imagine the trauma of a first pregnancy? Not only being in pain, but having a nurse talk down to you who is supposed to be your support. The current system of midwives are no better. My second and third child were delivered by midwives. I was greeted at the door by the midwife during my second pregnancy, and her statement was, "Oh, I see you're back again." Another nurse had told me that there were several complaints regarding this particular midwife, but nothing was ever done until she retired. Horror stories like these must not continue. We must do better. A woman's right to choose and access to safe abortions must be ensured and preserved across this nation and here in North Carolina. We must ensure the right to safe abortions, and we must address the social disparity to allow access with all. North Carolina has fairly restrictive abortion laws that required written consent of parents or guardians. Current law bans abortion after 20 weeks, except to save the life or health of the mother. And there is a requirement that abortion providers be licensed medical doctors. An unlawful abortion results in a Class H felony here in North Carolina, which is punishable by up to 10 years. If the judge determines that the unlawful abortion is a Class I, the punishment is 5 years at most. Failing to obtain parental consent is a Class 1 misdemeanor. And let's not forget that Class H and I felonies are not eligible to receive SNAP benefits. Women of North Carolina and everywhere, our bodies are under attack. I believe better solutions are found in preventing the need for abortions through education to prevent unwanted pregnancies, access to contraceptives, and support for mental health or substance use disorder issues. In addition, we need measures like the equal access to abortion coverage and health insurance that was introduced in 2021 by Representatives Barbara Lee, Jan Szyskowski, Ayanna Pressley, and Diana DeGette, and Senators Tammy Duckworth, Mazie Hirono, and Patty Murray. This legislation would allow low-income individuals to use their health care coverage, such as Affordable Care Act, Medicaid, Medicare, etc., for all reproductive health services, including abortion care and contraception. Medicaid and Medicare coverage should be extended after pregnancy to ensure health and wellness for the mother for at least 1 year. We need to increase access to health and wellness programming by providing rehabilitative funding and support for drug-dependent mothers, because mental health problems can sometimes lead to substance use disorders if people try to self-medicate with drugs or alcohol. This can be particularly harmful for pregnant women who become drug dependent and as a result risk incarceration and or loss of custody. It's time for Congress to support programs that help individuals who are experiencing substance use disorders to create addiction recovery plans centered on meeting their individual and family goals. Funding should be expanded for behavioral health and treatment programs for parents as well as those who are pregnant and or at risk for pregnancy due to substance abuse. Incarceration is not the answer. Expanding mental health and substance use workforce and improve its cultural competency to ensure that all individuals can access health care that is timely, respectful, and culturally relevant. Legislators should expand medical professionals' diversity in general and their access to diversity and cultural competency training specifically. Such training can be provided via medical school, board exams, and CME credits. Training should be based on patient-centered and trauma-informed care that includes the critical race theory to address implicit biases. If elected, these are some of the solutions that I plan on implementing. But as a woman, I will fight hard to ensure that our voices are represented in the House. If you stand with me, please vote Barbara Gaskins for United States Congressional District 3. Thank you.